the central northern plains. We got a lot of stuff going on out here. But what's up, everybody? Let's see who we got here today. We have Braven, we have Tabletop, we have Matt, we have Starshine, Ponderosa, of course, everybody else who is just tuning in here. Welcome, everybody. Hope everyone is doing good. So let's go ahead and turn on our warnings. I did turn them off earlier for a moment. So let's go ahead and get those on here. So we do have a long line of storms kind of really working its way through the plains currently. So we got a bit of activity going on in there now. Quite a nasty storm, actually. You know, this thing right now has been observed 60 miles an hour. We have definitely, this one on the bottom side has 70. This one's out here. Let's also turn on our town names too. It's like I turned everything off earlier. All right, we should be good now. Yeah, but the one out here in, this is in kind of the south central side of South Dakota. This one here is for Preshu. I think that's how you say that. Or, yeah, Preshu and Kennebec area here. This is for 70 mile an hour wind gusts here and 1.25 inch hail. Goodness. What's up, Renita? Thank you so much for the Tropical Storm Club for 3 months. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Saying, hey, Andrew, what's up? Hope you're doing good. By the way, guys, I'm streaming both on mobile and on my normal platform. So just wanted to let you guys know. So if I'm talking to somebody who you don't see him in the chat, that's why. What's up, Polly? Hope you're doing good. But once again, Renita, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. What's up, La Walker? What's up, Frankie? Saying, watching from Live Oak. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Cole? Good to have you here. What's up, Sirens? But yeah, we do have quite a bit of activity going on here. So let's take a moment to hop to the Mid-Atlantic real quickly. So actually, we this activity is almost done with. A lot of the Mid-Atlantic stuff is pretty much done with for the most part. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning out here. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and actually turn off the radar. It makes it a little hard to see the state line. So trying to make sure. Here, let's hop over here. Okay, so this is for the southern side of New Jersey, out there by Wildwood, including Lower Township, including Cape May Courthouse, Stone Harbor, Sea Isle City, Middle Township. This one here is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts here. Also, penny-sized hail is possible with that storm here. Let's go ahead and bring back up the radar now so we can look at that here. So they did have a tornado. They do have a tornado possible tag on it. You know, it doesn't mean that there will be a tornado 100% for sure. It just means that, you know, tornadoes are possible within the storm here. So, you know, given the kinematics and stuff, you know, we cannot rule that out. But yeah, we do have a tornado possible tag. So there's no reason to, you know, fully run to your shelter right now. But just be on alert in case if that does need to be upgraded to a tornado warning. But right now it's not. It's just that severe thunderstorm warning here. So, anyways. Does Tennessee have anything to worry about today, says Taylor? So, Tennessee is actually in the clear today. We do have the general thunderstorm risk here. Just, you know, can't rule out a couple storms or two, but yeah, nothing big going on. Tomorrow, we have another day of activity towards the mid-Atlantic, southeast, northeast, and a lot of the plains and a little bit of the upper Midwest here, too. Day 3, this kind of shifts eastward towards the Midwest here. But, you know, we're going to be quite active in the next couple of days of severe weather. Let's see here. Cole says, are these systems normal for summertime? I feel like a higher than usual number of flood watches. Yeah, so the flooding has been very nasty lately, you know, especially out there by like Texas and whatnot. Which, I mean, that's it. You know, in weather patterns, things do change up quite a bit. Sometimes some areas get more precipitation than others. And it just so happens to be that time for Texas. Now, severe weather-wise, you might be wondering if this is normal. Yeah, it is pretty normal to have, you know, a lot of severe weather around summertime, you know, due to usually a high amount of instability in the atmosphere that lingers over a lot of the country usually. But yeah, so that is that. Let's see here. What's up, Western? Saying I'm seeing a lot of lightning in Western Ohio. Nice. Gotcha. Yeah, there's nothing severe going on up in Ohio right now. So, all right, let's take a look back at the storm over here. So we have, yeah, pretty much a very long line of storms working its way from the south central side here of North Dakota, cutting through, you know, northern and kind of central South Dakota here. Pretty nasty set of storms here. Most of these here are actually warned for mostly 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here as of now. We do have that one warning to the south here, the one out there by Preshu in South Dakota, kind of on the south-central side. This one is actually warned for 70 mile-per-hour wind gusts here. Let me actually go ahead and bring up my other radar. We're going to go ahead and pull that up. Let's see here. What's going on in North Carolina? Not really much. I mean, obviously we just had that tropical storm that rolled through a little bit ago, but really not a whole lot. I mean, we do got a little marginal here for the northeastern side of the state here. We do actually have a severe warning in place here for areas up here towards Enfield, North Carolina, including the Halifax area. This is in effect for the next 21 minutes. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. So that is that. That's actually a new warning, I believe. I think that's relatively new. But yeah, a lot of the main stuff right now is kind of really kicking off towards the plains currently. So, let's see here. John says, what's the weather supposed to be like for Statesboro, Georgia in the next couple of days? So Georgia, just in general, nothing severe really going on today. Tomorrow, you can see a lot of the central and eastern side of Georgia does actually have a decent risk for possible severe weather. You said you're out there by Statesboro. Here, let's see. Statesboro. Let's go ahead and bring this up here. So, we'll go ahead and move that aside for a second. Yeah, so you're actually in that level 1 threat for severe weather. So, yeah, you do have that risk tomorrow. It's a pretty low in risk. No tornadoes. We got a 5% wind threat and not a hail threat. So, yeah, just look out for a little bit of gusty winds tomorrow. That kind of seems to be your only concern, really, for tomorrow. But then day 3... yeah, I mean, you're outside of the risk here for day 3. There's a little sliver of the northeastern side here of Georgia and the risk for that, but, you know, nothing really too crazy. But yeah, tomorrow we cannot rule that out. All right, we got a new warning. Let's hop on back here. All right, got a severe thunderstorm warning for Miller, South Dakota, including Highmore, including Gan Valley, Fort Thompson. Let's see here, Zell. Fulton, and let's see here, also out there by Redfield area here. This is a new warning that just got issued for the next hour, which has a potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. That southern warning here out there by Lake Andes, or Andes, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce that one, out there by like Burke and, you know, Hedrick and let's see here, Eagle and Bone Steel, some of those regions out here. This warning's here for 70 mile-per-hour wind gusts here, which is pretty nasty. It's actually observed too. Literally been observed. Let's see, did they say a wind gust of 64 miles an hour is reported at Winter, South Dakota Airport. 64. Wow, that's certainly pretty breezy. Do I think they'll upgrade, or hold on? Do I think there will be an upgrade to the tornado risk tomorrow? Says Weather Drops. So tomorrow, as of right now, we just have this 2% chance here. You know, for that, I'd really have to dive into models, which we're gonna do in a minute, which we'll get to that in a moment. But we'll have to see. I mean, right now it is a pretty low end risk here, 2% chance between, you know, Nebraska and Iowa, which I'll go ahead and pull it up for you guys so you guys can see it. My end here. Here, let's see. Tomorrow we'll go to day 2. There you go. Tornado risk. Yeah, tomorrow it's for Nebraska and Iowa here. That is where the concern is. But you know, we'll do a little bit of a dive into models here in a moment, and we'll look at that. Okay. Anyways, what's up, Nilda? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. What's up, Michael? Saying, is there fire weather this week? Yeah, we do have a bit of concern out west, fire-related problems. Here, we'll go bring this up for you guys. So you guys can see, we do have a bit of a concern for fire weather out throughout like Nebraska. Or, ignore. I called Nevada, Nebraska. Oh my gosh, never mind. It's one of them nights, dude, I tell you. Nevada and Utah. Dude. It's been one of the days, man. Nevada and Utah, as well as a little bit of Idaho and like Washington State, we do have A bit of a fire weather concern, mostly for Nevada, not Nebraska. So, but yeah, so that's that. Not really much going on towards your neck of the woods though in Colorado. So, anyways, all right, let's dive into models, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and bring those up here. I do want to take a peek at those real fast so that we can kind of see what's going on. Oops. Starshine, shut up. I know what I said, and I'm not proud of it. I am not proud of it at all. You know what, though? It happens. It happens time to time, so cut me some slack. I'm going to make sure that you guys both can see this on the, the mobile stream, as well as my main layout. Main layout, you're good. Okay, you guys can see this pretty well. So let's do a little bit of a look into tomorrow's concern here. Let's first of all bring up the instability here. We have a really good amount of instability fuel out there for storms. Here we're gonna have to downgrade the model run here to 18 Zulu. Yeah, the new one coming through doesn't have many points rendered yet. I mean, look at that though. There's a lot of fuel. There's a lot of instability out here. Sheesh. Yeah, and then tomorrow for late Thursday, we do have still a pretty good amount of instability in place through some of these regions here. There's just a bit of a capping inversion, so some storms could have a little bit of trouble firing off here. It is certainly possible. Let me look at kinematics here. Let's look at our wind speed or wind shear here. I mean, we do have a bit of a lower level jet though, kind of in the the evening for the most part. About 25, 35 knots or so, you know, towards like eastern Nebraska going into Iowa. That's actually where that tornado threat is here. I know you guys on mobile can't really see it too well. There you go. You guys can see it a little bit better now. I mean, yeah, definitely has the lower level jet to support some, you know, potential tornadic activity. Dew point here. I mean, this time of the year, yeah, it's not surprising. We have 70-degree dew points out there. Certainly is pretty hefty. But anyways. What's up, Nilda saying here from Colorado Springs. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Good to have you here. Let's see here. Nicholas, thank you, dude, for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that, my friend. Saying, what do I think about West Des Moines, Iowa? All right, let's first of all bring up West Des Moines, Iowa. Let's go and bring you up here. So yeah, you are in the risk tomorrow, and inside of that 2% tornado risk here. You're in the level 1 threat for severe weather. So, you know, your threat's pretty low tomorrow, per se. You do have that 2% chance probability for tornadoes, which, you know, is a very low in odd. The odds of you getting that's extremely low. Basically, within a 25-mile radius around you, there's a 2% chance of a tornado dropping in that radius around you. So as you can imagine, the odds are not really in your favor, which is good. Otherwise, we do have a 5% wind threat here. This is where we could see possibly some gusty winds, upwards of maybe 60 miles an hour or so. 5% chance. You know, same logic within a 25-mile radius of a given location. And then lastly, hail-wise, kind of the same thing. You know, you do have that 5% chance out there for hail as well, between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. So, hopping over back to models here. Actually, I do want to take a look at the HRRR here to kind of look at the mode in terms of here. Let me move this over a little bit. In terms of like the structure of these storms here, is it clustered? Is it, you know, linear? Is it, you know, discrete? Whatnot? So later on tomorrow, yeah, it's just kind of a big blob of storms here. According to the HRRR, though, we do have maybe a discrete cell or two that could fire off in Iowa, as you can see. You know, you can kind of see the HRRR model suggesting that fairly late tomorrow, kind of in the evening, that is going to be possible. But otherwise, it just looks like a big blob, kind of like a big cluster of storms here. You know, the storms actually do you know, go on. I mean, obviously they're going on now, which they'll continue moving east overnight. You might even have some storms fairly early tomorrow, though. I mean, this is like 10 Zulu. This is pretty early in the morning. I mean, this is like, I believe 6 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. But it is very early. So, yeah, morning you might have some storms, and then going into the afternoon there could definitely be a couple more like pop-off storms. Certainly is possible. Lady B says, is there any rain coming out of Crawfordville, Florida? Well, let's bring up Crawfordville. Let's see what we got going on here. Crawfordville, Florida. Gotcha. Okay, so severe weather-wise, no, but we do have our normal Florida thunderstorm threat. Just typical. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow we could see some storms in the area, but, you know, as of now, not anything severe. Don't expect it to be anything severe either. So that is good. But yeah, just basic Florida stuff. You know, we're used to it down here. You can see just typical scattered storms everywhere. Just typical. A lot of that's like sea breeze initiated too, or just simply diurnal heating, unevenly heating up the Earth's atmosphere. In the ground, of course. But yeah, you know, honestly, just typical storms. Nothing really crazy at all tomorrow. Alrighty, so hopping back over here to the Dakotas, you can see right now we just have this long line of storms out here throughout North and South Dakota. A handful of severe thunderstorm warnings here. Currently, there is no active tornado warnings. Knock on wood. They did actually remove the tornado threat tonight here completely. So we no longer have that threat as of right now. However, we do have a significant wind threat, though, for Nebraska, as you guys can see. Areas out there along the central eastern side of the state here, even a little bit of like southeastern South Dakota, we do have a significant wind threat here, which does give possibility for quite strong winds out there. Look at this, gusts up to 80 miles an hour possible. This is from the SPC here. So definitely very gusty winds today. You know, that's nothing to brush off. That's, if we do have 80 mile an hour winds, that is definitely pretty serious. Also, events for hail. Upwards of like 2 inches in diameter. So if you mix those two together, man, it's not very good. So hopefully we won't have that problem tonight. But you know, just given the risk out there, we do have a threat for large hail and you know, main threat really damaging winds here. Renita coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Saying, how do I look for tonight and tomorrow, Andrew? Please and thank you. I got you, my friend. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. Big shout out goes to you, Renita. Thank you. So here for today, we have a general thunderstorm risk here, which is nothing to worry about. You know, a couple storms in the areas you can see right now on radar. Really not a lot happening. Just, you know, don't be surprised if a pop-up storm appears or, you know, two. Can't rule it out. Tomorrow, though, I believe you're right on the edge. Yeah, so you are in the level 1 severe weather threat tomorrow. So we do need you to be, you know, keeping an eye on the weather. It's nothing extreme, you know, it's not any outbreak or anything like that for you tomorrow, which is good. But there is a little risk. Good news, no tornadoes in your area. We do have a 5% wind threat, though. Potential for some gusty winds, you know, likely upwards of 60 miles an hour within some of those severe storms, you know, could occur. And no hail threat. So really, yeah, your only concern is just going to be some gusty winds out of tomorrow's storms here. So, you know, nothing really too big going on, Renita. Nothing really super wild. And of course, here going into day 3, which that would be Friday, we just have a general thunderstorm risk here. Once again, just kind of normal thunderstorm potential. So, you know, nothing really wild or anything like that. So anyways, Team Kenny says, how is Chattanooga looking this weekend? So Chattanooga, just general thunderstorms for the next 3 days. You know, like we were mentioning earlier, you know, the general thunderstorm risk is just basically saying, hey, you could get some thunderstorms, but, you know, just typical summertime thunderstorms. You know, nothing extremely crazy. You know, no like damaging outbreaks or anything like that occurring now. You know, a couple storms over the next 3 days is possible, but yeah, nothing really big happening. What's up, Sharon? Hope you're doing good. Good to have you here. Nicholas says, I think mainly Friday is the threat here. So Friday would be on day 3. Nicholas, actually, so for Georgia, the main threat here is going to be tomorrow here for day 2, which would be on Thursday. So, with that being said, tomorrow we do need you to be keeping a little eye on the weather. Once again, like I mentioned, it's not any outbreak or anything like that for your area, which is good. I mean, generally speaking, tomorrow we do have 2 decent slight risks here tomorrow. One up here in the Central Plains, and then another in the southeast, up by mostly the Carolinas here. Those areas do need to be a little extra careful as the risk is greater than the marginal level 1 green area here. But tomorrow the hot spots are going to be in the yellow here. So areas mostly in like western Kansas, like a lot of Nebraska, eastern Colorado here, just east of Denver, and like west Iowa, is in that threat there overall. But yeah, we'll definitely be here tomorrow too to do a little bit of coverage on this too. We do need to get back in high gear and start covering more storms again. What's the black area? Let's see here. So, okay. So these areas here that are in the gray color, this is where there's not even a thunderstorm threat. So that's the area where we're not even expecting any convection, any thunderstorm activity. So the light green represents the possibility for, potentially maybe a couple storms, non-severe. This is the thunderstorm risk here, the general thunderstorm risk. And then the severe scale goes from 1 to 5. The higher the number, the more severe the risk is, the more severe the storms could potentially get. And which the lowest end risk here is the dark green, and then we go into level 2 here in the yellow, and level 2 maximum as of right now for tomorrow. So, it's still on the lower side of the risk here, but, even a level 2 threat can be problematic, in which, we should definitely be weather aware for. Absolutely. Absolutely. See, good for Texas. Yeah. That is true. Tomorrow, some of the eastern sides, though, towards like coastal Texas, including like Houston area, could see some more storms and whatnot. But a lot of central Texas, not really anything super wild, thunderstorm wise. So that's good. Not really expecting much. But yeah. All right, so let's hop on back over here to southern New Jersey. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Stone Harbor, including Sea Isle City and Avalon, including also Wildwood Crest, Lower Township, Cape May. This is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for the next 19 minutes. They do have a tornado possible tag on it here. 60 mile per hour wind gusts here is a concern here. Also, penny size hail as well is a bit of a concern. So that's that. Polly wants me to do a zip code. It would be nice if you could say please at the end of that. It's a little rude just to say zip code and Andrew. But yeah, I got you. No problem. Let me go ahead and bring this up here. So this is up in Texas here. Okay, so yeah, so this area is not in the risk for severe weather or anything like that tomorrow, or really any thunderstorm activity here. Same thing for Friday as well. So that's good. You are looking pretty good. Let's see here. Chris says, speaking of the Northeast, would tomorrow's weather for Western Maryland be like today's weather, or would it be less severe? So tomorrow, given the risk here, likely less severe. We do have that level 1 threat here overall. You can see that covers a lot of the state here overall. So we do have that marginal risk here. Given the risk, though, I mean, there is no tornado threats. There's just a little bit of a wind threat here tomorrow, not even hail. So, that is that. Probably going to be a little bit less severe expectancy here tomorrow, but, keep your eyes peeled. A little bit of gusty winds within the storms will certainly still be possible. All right, let's see here. Classic says tornado warning had. Wait, you got a couplet went over your house? Are you good, dude? Hopefully that didn't drop. Where was that at? Michael says, what about 80138 severe weather for this week? 80138. Oops, hold on. My num lock isn't working. Great. 138. I'll just have to use the normal keypad here. All right, so you do got a threat for severe weather tomorrow. Level 1 threat, nothing big. Also Friday too. Friday too, it's a marginal level 1 severe weather threat. So no tornadoes, good. Just yeah, just a little bit of gusty winds. You're just outside of that hail threat too, right on the edge of it. No, you're good, Polly. You're good, Polly. It's just, you know, a lot of people come through here and have been pretty rude in the past. You know, just like demanding zip codes without, you know, any form of politeness, if that makes sense. So it just, yeah. But no, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Let's see. Speaking about the north, oh, I already read that one. Let's see here. Chris wants me to look at his zip code. Yeah, I got you, man. I'm gonna pull this up for you. You're up in Maryland. Yeah, so basically, yeah, like we mentioned tomorrow, Maryland really as a whole does have that that level 1 severe weather threat here. So yeah, we do need to be weather aware tomorrow. Once again, though, no tornadoes, just a bit of a wind concern, and hail's not even a problem at all either. So, see here, Michael says, "Hey Andrew, thank you for all that you do. You're the best to keep everyone safe, and you're awesome." I appreciate that, Michael. That's very sweet of you. Thank you, thank you. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. Glinda, I got you, my friend. Let's go ahead and pull up your area here real quickly. So you are in Tennessee. Gotcha. Okay, so tomorrow, you're looking pretty good as of now. You do have a general thunderstorm risk here. So we should watch out for the potential of a couple storms happening tomorrow. You know, nothing severe, though. You know, nothing really crazy. Just, you know, potential of a couple booms of thunder here and there. Nothing really big. But then we work our way over here into day 3. We do actually have a level 1 threat for Friday, which, you know, is a pretty low end risk here overall. What's up, Rosemary? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. What will it be like in Daytona, Florida? Gotcha. So Florida has nothing severe going on, you know, severe weather-wise, like thunderstorm-wise, which is good. However, we do have the thunderstorm risk, though. You know, it's Florida. We typically do get our thunderstorms this time of the year every day. That's going to be nothing different. You know, we are going to be seeing a lot of storms throughout Florida over the next couple of days. You know, it's going to be very stormy for us, just typical. But good news, though, is that we're not expecting anything severe out of it. You know, it's not going to be any damaging threats. You know, nothing for tornadoes, nothing for hail, nothing for damaging winds. That's not a problem. But, you know, just typical Florida. Just our normal booms here in the afternoon will be quite possible. That persists for the next 3 days and likely further. Let's see here. Virgil says, zip code, please. Sorry if I already did it. Just got here. No, you're good, man. I got you. We go ahead and bring it up here. Alrighty, so you, my friend, are up here in Minnesota. Okay, so you do have a threat here for Friday, threat for tomorrow as well. So today we don't really have any risk for severe weather. Tomorrow we do have a level 1 severe weather threat here. It's a marginal. No tornadoes involved tomorrow, which is good. In terms of damaging winds, we do have a 5% risk here for damaging wind gusts here. So we could see some gusty winds within the storms tomorrow. You know, can't rule out a gust upwards of 60 miles an hour, so they can't rule that out. You know, same thing even for hail, actually. We do have a 5% risk out there for hail being a bit of a concern as well. So that is something that, you know, that is something that we do have to look out for overall. So, you know, just a little bit of a threat here for hail and gusty winds here tomorrow. Now, Friday, we also do have another level 1 threat, but as of now, you know, day 3 outlooks, they don't have the breakdown for, you know, tornadoes, hail, damaging winds. You know, that's not available right now, but it does exist. So just make sure you're keeping a little eye on the weather here tomorrow and the day after. But all right, let's take a moment here to take a look at some of these warnings. So we still do have this line of storms, you know, these this really long QLCS rolling its way throughout North South Dakota, a little bit of Nebraska here as well. You know, these guys are mostly ranging mostly within 60-mile-an-hour threshold here. We do have a couple of storms that's been popping up to 70, like this one here. We have a storm up here in southeastern North Dakota, out there by Lake Edgeley. Let's see, Adrian, Sydney, Charlo. Let's see here, Dickey, Berlin. Yeah, this one's actually radar indicated for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts here, as well as 0.88 inches, which is nickel-size hail, being a possibility here. Let's see here. Ponderosa, yeah, I definitely do plan on it, for sure. Glenda says, dude, I really hope and pray that August 22nd is going to be okay. Because my son's going to have his favorite team's game, and it's his first one he's ever been to. Hopefully there's nothing that day. I hope so as well. It is a little hard to look, that far out, of course. So, we'll just have to let time do its thing. And, the closer we get to it, feel free to ask me when I'm live, and I'll be more than happy to look for you, okay? Yeah, obviously August a little too far to look out at that resolution, basically. Let's see here. No problem, Virgil. Got you, man. No problem. Let's see here. Rosemary says, good to know. Thank you. No problem. What's up, Kath? Hope you're doing good. Is there any threat for derechos this week? I mean, there is long lines of storms rolling through, but I don't think really anything super duper crazy. Obviously, here, like I said, tomorrow's risk here. We hop back towards the plains and whatnot. So tomorrow we do have this cluster of storms, but I wouldn't really classify that as a derecho. Just kind of a little bit of a little line of storms. That's actually going on now. This little line here, but yeah, you can kind of see it just really falls apart overnight. But it does, like I said, pose a bit of a concern for like western and central Iowa here tomorrow morning. So we definitely could see a bit of storms pretty early out there, and then following that is maybe a couple discrete cells maybe firing off here or there. But yeah, I really wouldn't say anything super organized like derecho wise. Anyways, but yeah, so that's that. Also, let's take a moment to talk tropics real quickly. I mean, obviously it's very important this time of the year. But I tell you what, my friends, tropics, we're pretty quiet right now. In the Atlantic, we have nothing going on during the next 7 days. We are chilling. Eastern Pacific, we also have nothing going on there in the next 7 days. Central Pacific, nothing. So, both in the EPAC, the Pacific Ocean, as well as the Atlantic, at least Eastern Pacific, nothing really going on here. Atlantic, same thing. But I did see a post earlier from the Climate Prediction Center. They did highlight the Gulf of Mexico for the potential for a bit of, activity that could occur, which we'll have to see if that actually plays through. Let me bring up the models here. By the way, y'all, I'm actually making something super cool. I'm actually making a website, which it'll be out soon, probably within the next couple of weeks or so. But I'm like adding Hurricane Hunter tracking and stuff like that, which is so cool. Which I'll show you guys more of that whenever it's done. But yeah, like I mentioned, the CPC did have a little area here towards the Gulf, of activity occurring. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll definitely have to see what happens here. With that. But looking at GFS here, obviously we can't go too far because the accuracy goes right down the drain the further you look down in time. But you know what? I mean, yeah, really nothing. I'm really seeing here from what GFS is, suggesting. So, at least for now, tropics seem to be pretty clear, in that. So that's certainly good. Alrighty, so let's hop on back over here towards South Dakota. We got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Marty, as well as Armour, including Lake Andes. This is actually for 60-mile-per-hour observed winds. So this winds have actually been observed here. Also, let's see here. This is for nickel-size hail. So that is that. To the north, we have another one here for Huron. I think that's how you say that. And Plankinton? Not like plankton. Plankinton. This is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And we have another one up here towards Miller, as well as Highmore. This one's for 60 mile an hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So it seems like that's what a lot of these storms are at right now. Mostly just 60 mile per hour wind gusts. I think they did downgrade. Yeah, they did downgrade that one in southeastern North Dakota. The one that was at 70 a minute ago. That's no longer there, thankfully. Hopping back to, yeah, this is probably about to expire soon. The one for southern New Jersey. Out by like Cape May and Stone Harbor, Sea Isle City. Yeah, this one has 7 minutes left. You know, not to mention the storm is pretty much moved mostly out of that warning area here, so a lot of that is over with here. But other than that, I mean, that's kind of what we're chilling with here. Let's take a look at satellite real quickly. I'm so glad they added the animations now to the satellite imagery. It's so nice, dude. When it loads, of course. Yeah, it's always the best. Here we go. I think. Yeah. I mean, you can just see how everything's just been really kind of blowing up over the last several hours here. Dang, dude. Yeah, you can definitely see more cold tops on that. Definitely get more deeper convection, that's for sure. But we'll definitely keep a close eye on these areas. What's up, Ma? Hope you're doing good. Here, let me bring up my other radar real quickly. I do want to pull up the... so back up towards the Dakotas here. So we have a new wind. Ooh. Apparently we had 69 mile an hour wind gusts out there a little bit ago. This is a while ago, because you can see where the storm is now. This thing has moved east since then. But this was out there in North Dakota. Out there in, let's see here, Kidder, North Dakota. From a mesonet, interesting. Let's hop back down to South Dakota here, see what we got going on. This one, ooh, okay, yeah, this line's still definitely producing some pretty nasty winds here. 65 mile an hour wind gusts recorded at Lower Burrell, out there by Fort Thompson area here. This one, 59 mile an hour wind gusts out by Stephen. Yeah, areas like Rockingham, Orient, Miller, Bree Heights are probably getting, you know, pretty good amount of wind gusts out there. The good news, you know, like I mentioned, though, is that tornado threat is pretty much over with for tonight. This is just mostly just a long wind threat and hail threat today as well, which we're still looking out for, but not really seeing any big reports for hail right now. Let's hop up to Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska's pretty much non-severe. Not really a whole lot of severity going on. Yeah, there is no severe warnings right now in Nebraska, but we do have this tail of the line going down towards like Stapleton area here. Southeastern South Dakota. We do have a couple of mesonet reports here, a couple of wind reports out there. 59 mile an hour winds out there south of Academy. 62 just west of Geddes, north of Bonesteel. So definitely we are reporting quite strong winds on this thing, this whole line. But yeah, once again, SPC did thankfully remove the tornado threat here for tonight. That is no longer there. We are chilling. I'm good, Ma. How are you? So yeah, y'all. Tomorrow we're gonna do a bit of coverage as well. You know, once again, Mid-Atlantic region, Northeast. We definitely should keep an eye out there for the for the weather. Once again, these yellow areas, these are like the main areas here, severe weather-wise tomorrow. So, you know, like the bullseye, essentially, you know, the greatest probability here, severe weather-wise here tomorrow is going to be between the, between North and South Carolina here, a little bit of like Eastern Georgia. And then, of course, yet again, another decent slight risk out here towards the Central Plains, which we'll have to definitely look out for. Definitely have to look out for. Let's see here. To be quite fair with you, I think a lot of this line is probably going to be... Here, let me... wish I could overlay the outlook with everything. Here we go. Here's the new update. Yeah, so that significant wind threat tonight is up here in Nebraska. But, you know, like we mentioned, there's not a whole lot happening in Nebraska, severe weather-wise. This line is definitely starting to, you know, kick off, of course, but let's see here. Significant gusts up to 80 miles an hour possible. Also mentioned 2-inch in diameter hail possible too. Yeah, nothing severe as of now. What's up, Isaac? We're doing good, man. It's got a bit of work it needs to do here. Let me hop back over to models real quickly. See what we got going on here. Okay, yeah, so you can really see that main line here that develops here according to HRRR over the next several hours. So this is going to continue overnight, basically. And eventually, like early tomorrow morning, we're going to have probably a pretty good amount of activity here in like western Iowa here. What's up, Oso? Hope you're doing good, my friend. I mean, there certainly is a lot of instability out here, though. You know, especially out there, like in eastern Nebraska and up there in like the Dakotas, man. We're talking like almost like upwards of 4,000 joules. That's a lot, dude. Yeah, instability is certainly not a problem in this case. Travis says, how does Eastern Tennessee look? Eastern Tennessee is pretty good for the most part. The only thing is see here. Let's bring up our risk here yet again. So today we're good. Tomorrow we're pretty good, nothing severe. Really the only thing here is Friday out there by like Johnson City, we should see barely even into level 1 marginal. You know, we can't rule out maybe a severe storm or two, but yeah, nothing really destructive or any like severe outbreaks or anything like that expected. So Eastern Tennessee is pretty good. Just, you know, wouldn't be surprised though if you did get thunderstorms, you know, over the next couple of days, because, you know, the threat still persists, you know, for non-severe storms. It's just the severe threat, you know, for any damaging storms we're not expecting. If that makes sense. What's up, Janice? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, not really much going on there for you know, for Tennessee or anything like that. Let's see here. Better now that the storms in northwest Georgia have passed. So I'm glad to see that. Isaac says 4,000. Also, do I think that northeast Illinois might get severe weather soon? All the models keep switching their minds up. I mean, at least for now, you know, what we got going on here is day 3. We do have, so Friday, we do have a little bit of a risk for like northeastern Illinois here. So maybe a couple severe storms out there then. Tomorrow we do have a bit of a risk for the north and northwestern side of the state, but not really, you know, anything super potent per se. No tornado risk though. Just a bit of a gusty wind concern on the western side and a bit of a hail concern as well. So, you know, just look out for a couple of gusts possibly getting upwards of 60 miles an hour. You know, maybe isolated hail between 1 and 2 inches in diameter. You know, nothing really super crazy per se, but you know, something is possible, and that's pretty low end. Oh, dude, they've added so much to this model page. I didn't even notice. They added hail swaths. What? When did they do that? Goodness. Travis is storming. Good to get some rain and lightning going on. Just a pop-up storm. Gotcha. Yeah, it is nice. What's up, Pro Bowler? Hope you're doing good. Good to have you here, my friend. Anyways, all right, let's hop back up here to the radar. Got a new warning out by Jamestown, North Dakota. This guy is for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. Let's see here. Got a couple other ones here. Yeah, I mean, all these, at least in North Dakota right now, these ones are pretty chill. We're in, or I would say chill, but they're not anything 70, 80 mile an hour wind worthy. It is still enough where you need to be away from windows and indoors, of course, but 60 mile per hour wind gusts is mostly what those are for. Here in South Dakota, this one's 60 observed, 60, 60. Yeah, I believe all the warnings right now are for 60 mile per hour wind gusts here. You know, throughout North and South Dakota. Right now, Nebraska doesn't have a warning yet at the moment, but that will likely change here in a little bit because, you know, this line of storms is expected to kick up quite a bit here. It is expected to. Let me bring up the satellite imagery here real quickly. Yeah, so like the HRRR model and everything did say that, you know, these storms here would pick up over time. Which right now it's almost 3 UTC, which is basically right here at this point. You can see that from here on out, you know, the system does kind of work its way eastward here. But it does have something like later on, you know, along like western Iowa, we could do that. My layout looks a little different. That's because you're on my mobile stream. I'm filming this one with my phone. Actually, I have 2 streams going. If you go to my main page, you'll see one with my face, and then you'll see the other one, which you're on right now. So, yeah, I'm streaming both mobile and both on a normal stream. But anyways, all right, you know, one thing I am going to bring up, though, I do want to take a quick little peek here at the meso analysis here real quickly. I do want to pull this up here, see what we got going on with these guys. Be good to do a bit of a breakdown here. I need to lift that up a bit. There we go. All right, cool. So, yeah, there's that line of storms here up here towards Nebraska. Dude, yeah, their instability is huge. Almost 4,000 MLK here from this pick here. SQT, my dark mode kind of ruins my SQT chart, so you can barely see it though. But there is a little bit of veering going on here. What is that, like 30 knots, 20, 30 knots? Gosh, I need to get rid of dark mode on this page. Here, you know what I can do that's even better though? I'll just bring up the. Let's bring up this here. Why not? There you go. That's a lot better. So our lower level winds right now is about 25 knots. So our lower level winds here are, you know, roughly about 5,000 or so feet up in the air. They are moving to the north here. This is about 25 knots. So that is about 25 knots here. Isn't anything significant per se. You know, typically for really violent or any significant tornadic activity, you need that stronger, which there is no tornadic activity for that, thankfully. So pretty good. Mid-level shear going to the southeast here. Really not that strong. This is roughly about 20,000 feet up, about 30 knots, kind of changing direction too, pushing kind of to the east, to the southeast here. Very interesting. Yeah, there's just a lot of instability here. I wonder how much decape there is. Okay. Yeah, so we do have pretty high end decape here. Certainly is potential for those really strong damaging wind gusts we were talking about there. It does make sense. You know, values here that we're talking like over 1,500 in the warm sector or greater, which that's high. That is very high. You know, if those lower level winds were a lot, you know, the lower level wind shear was stronger, that could be much, much worse. Janice wants me to look at the zip code 14411. Gotcha. That's a really easy zip code to remember. Oh, if it'll let me type 14411. Here we go. Doesn't get much more easier than that, does it? Alrighty, so you're up here in New York State. So tomorrow you're right on the edge of a risk for severe weather. No tornadoes, though. Possibly an isolated severe storm or two, containing maybe some gusty winds. No, not even really severe hail or anything like that either. So a little bit of gusty winds possible. Day 3 Friday would look pretty good. Yeah, tomorrow I'm just keep an eye out there for some storms. It is possible. You know, we could definitely get a little bit of storm activity here tomorrow, but you know, if we did, it would likely remain fairly low end per se. What's the instability in Fremont, Nebraska? Let's see here. Vermont, Nebraska. Gotcha. So this is out there by Omaha area. Okay. We are at about 4,000 MLK. Here, let's actually bring that up real quick. Holy cow. Sheesh. It's over 5,000 here. 5,500 MLK. That's like a very, very unstable atmosphere. Look at that fat cape, though. It's kind of hard to see it, but right in there, that is all instability, dude. There is a bit of a veering lower level jet stream going on out there, it looks like, from that, but you know, there's no convection. Yeah, instability in this is very, very high. It's certainly not lacking in that department, but what's really lacking is the wind shear, basically. You know, the lower level winds ahead of this is about maybe 20, 25 knots most. So really not anything significant lower level wise. I mean, mid level wise is nothing better either. I mean, we're pretty weak, especially towards like the Dakotas. I mean, we're only at about like 10, 20 knots, which the winds are fairly weak throughout the atmosphere, which is really allowing for the storm system to not be any more strong. But I mean, if it was up to moisture and you know, the instability, that it already takes the cake for that. You know, plenty of ingredients that way. But you know, I always like to explain it's kind of like baking a cake. You know, if you have too much of one ingredient, it never turns out right, and it doesn't happen. You know, or it just doesn't turn out right, basically. And then it's like if you get the ingredients perfect, then things happen. In this case, we have a little bit too much cape to wind shear ratio. So there's more instability than there is, you know, wind shear. So wind shear is really the limiting factor. If we had a strong low or something that was like up into Dakotas, really cranking, that would probably call for something really bad. But thankfully we don't, which is really good. You know, but that's severe weather threat still remains, though, of course, you know, because of the high amounts of instability that we do have, you know, could allow for storms to, you know, explode very aggressively, you know, tonight, which could certainly allow for some severe weather. But I mean, right now, you know, these storms here are just basically within the same range here. We're mostly talking like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here and stuff like that. So, you know, mostly low end. I mean, if you get caught in a warning that's like 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here and you know, within that range, basically, the best thing for you to do is just go indoors. You know, stay away from windows. You know, you don't want to be near windows whenever you're having winds of that magnitude. Because, you know, it can cause loose items to go flying, which, you know, could bust out some windows. Tree branches could hit windows, stuff like that. So it's just best to stay away from it because, you know, you don't want to be near a window when it breaks like that. Not to mention the object hitting the window could be a bit of a concern too. So it's just best to stay away from windows. You know, if you just chill out in the middle of your home, I mean, you don't even have to fully seek shelter for like a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-an-hour winds now. I mean, you don't have to go to your basement or anything like that. It's not that bad. But, like, you know, towards the middle of your home, just away from windows, that's about it. I mean, it can cause trees to come down. It could cause some power outages and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that's certainly possible. But, you know, a lot of places could withstand that wind. But just don't be surprised if there's like minor damages and stuff, you know, with warnings like that. Anyways, but to be honest with you, this is probably just what's going to continue on here. So I'm probably going to call it a stream here for now. You know, because to be honest with you, I think a lot of this is just mostly going to be within the threshold of like 60-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, obviously we do have that significant threat up here for Nebraska, but there's really nothing severe going on with them right now. You know, these storms here are not severe currently, and they've been kind of pushing through. But I think we're going to roll off for now, y'all. Tomorrow we'll definitely be back here with some more stream for you guys. You know, tomorrow we do have that slight risk, which we'll cover here in the Central Plains, and as well as a bit of like the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast here. So we'll be here for you guys then. Alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I just want to say thank you all for hanging out with us here, just for a little bit of coverage here tonight. You know, just wanted to hop on here and, you know, just cover this for a little bit here with you guys. But that is going to wrap it up. Oh, we have a tornado warning. Hold on a minute. Of course there's a tornado warning. This is out by Brigantine? I'm not sure how you say that one. Out by Beach Haven, Long Beach Township, and Tuckerton. Radar indicated threat here. Let's see here. You know what? I think it's right on the coast here. Interesting. Yeah, just make sure if you guys are in that area that you guys get to your safe spot, okay? All right, everybody. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for joining. It's good to see y'all. And we'll be back here tomorrow for more coverage and stuff. All right, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute for my folks on the main stream, and for the mobile people, we're gonna roll off for now. But just thank you all for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys here tomorrow. All right, see you later, everybody. Thanks for joining. Catch you all in the next.